Browns back at training camp before an off day on Thursday, and we'll start with the news. We saw Martin Emerson get carted off yesterday. We found out it was an Achilles injury, and today Kevin Stefanski confirmed before practice that Martin will undergo season-ending surgery to repair that Achilles. So, again, Mary Kay, we knew this was coming. We knew it was happening. Kevin confirms it today, and now the Browns have to figure out a way to replace Martin.
Well, yes, it's time to move forward now. Everyone feels so bad about Martin. All of his teammates do, of course. But the guy who will step up into that starting role is Greg Newsome. Those guys were obviously very close. And Greg talked a lot about Martin today and everything that he went through this offseason to try to come back and rebound and have a really, really nice season. So everybody's heartbroken for him. But once again, Greg ready to step up into that role. It's a contract year for Greg, and he knows what he's got to go out and do.
Yeah, Greg playing on that fifth-year option. A lot of times when guys get to that fifth-year option, it means they have, at the very least, have to prove something if they want to stay here. So it's bad news for Martin. It's not the way Greg wants it, Ashley, but obviously it is an opportunity.
Yeah, it is. And, Greg, too, dealt with injury last year, which is something Martin talked about yesterday before he got hurt, nagging injuries. It was sort of a similar thing with Greg. He had surgery on his hamstring, but he missed all of training camp, and he's very honest that impacted him so much last year. So to have him out here healthy right now, obviously big with Martin down, and he does have experience playing on the outside, and he's going to get more of those chances now just because MJ won't be out there.
Now, we did get to see something that I don't know if we necessarily expected to see this, but Kevin Stefanski promised a more physical training camp. He did hint a couple days ago that maybe we would see this for the first time. However, Mary Kay, since Kevin has been here, we saw a live tackling period at training camp.
Yeah, it was weird to look out there and see all of a sudden Jerome Ford just getting tackled to the ground time and time again, and other hits and tackling going on. So it was really interesting, but it kind of goes along with the whole vibe, that whole toughness vibe that we've been talking about since OTAs and minicamp, that they have really made this commitment to being hardened toughness for this season. They're wearing that phrase on the back of T-shirts around here, and it's just all part of it. So they're going to be in pads for the next couple of days, and they're going. It's go time for these guys.
And you can see, guys obviously thrive, and running backs love it. Carson Schlesinger has had some big plays when they have gone live. He had a couple today when they went live tackling. So, Ashley, this just goes with the theme that the Browns are going to be more physical. They're going to try and be tougher, and they're going to be try to be more ready to play football when they face the Bengals week 1.
Yeah, I think when we're watching today, we all looked out there and we're like, do our eyes deceive us? Do we see players on the ground? Because it's just not in the past been a risk they deemed worth taking. But after last year, I'm glad we did see that. It felt like in so many ways last year in training camp, they were maybe overly cautious. And you saw that in week 1 when the Dallas Cowboys came out and really just out-toughened this team, dismantled them in just about every way. So it seems like they are on track to changing that this year.
And let's talk quarterbacks. Let's try to update what we saw today from these quarterbacks. And let's talk about Shedeur Sanders, because something somewhat significant happened today. He still did not go with the first-team offense, but he did get to lead the second-team offense against the first-team defense. They were doing a lot of mixing and matching during that period, Mary Kay, but it was interesting to see Shedeur get that opportunity in this practice today.
Yeah, it was good for him. It was a great first step towards actually getting some work with the ones and against the ones. Maybe that's coming soon. Odd to kind of put him with the twos against the ones, but lo and behold, that's what they did. He went 2 for 3 in that period, completed a couple shorter passes, but he did a pretty nice job there, and it was good to see him get some work when you have to look out there and you have to see Myles Garrett and Mason Graham and Denzel Ward and all of those kinds of guys. So it's a good step up for Shedeur.
And it's interesting timing too, because the Browns, as I mentioned, have that off day on Thursday. You've got to imagine they're going to huddle up a little bit and try to figure out if they want to change anything with this quarterback grouping, especially with that Carolina joint practice coming up and that preseason game next week.
Yeah, I am curious, but it's like they already have obviously made a change without Kenny Pickett practicing right now. So that is still the interesting wrinkle in all of this, is when is Kenny going to be back? What's that timetable going to look like? And we just don't know that. But it really has been Joe Flacco getting a majority of those primary reps with the first team. And today we saw that mixing and matching a little bit with first team offense against second team defense, second team offense against first team defense. So more mixing going on today.
All right, 7 days of camp in the books. We'll have full coverage of everything that happened today at cleveland.com/Browns.